Coming up on Be Kind, Let's Rewind.
Today we are talking about Beetlejuice versus Beetlejuice Beetlejuice.
Damn! 3 times.
The original also stars Alec Baldwin.
Which, I'm sorry, the clip's going to make its appearance again.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Alec Baldwin.
Charles Dietz in the original film. He doesn't reprise his role. I can't remember why.
One of the most influential Western novelists of the 19th century, most famous for Crime and Punishment. And I believe it was he who said,
Later,
accordion style, and just like flops on the floor like
she had him in his arms, and then he looked up at her and he said,
You gotta pay the troll toll if you want to get into that boy's hole.
And then Charles Dietz was like, does somebody say boy's hole?
4, 3, 2, 1.
Cue music.
Later,
Nice model.
Welcome to Be Kind, Let's Rewind, the nostalgia podcast no one asked for, with your hosts, Chris, Leaf, and Shadwick.
he has the bowl cam where he goes in the bathroom so he can still be on the podcast. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Be Kind, Let's Rewind, the nostalgia podcast that no one asked for. Today we are talking about Beetlejuice versus Beetlejuice Beetlejuice. Oh, shit, I said it 3 times.
You did say it 3 times.
You're effed.
So this episode, we're actually going to compare the original one to the one that just came out. A little bit outside our wheelhouse. We've been comparing remakes, but I thought, hey, man, it's right after Halloween. You guys probably have a little bit of that Halloween itch left, so we're going to scratch it. Before we get started, guys,
good for you.
be sure to like, subscribe if you're listening on the audio formats. Hit us with that 5-star review. Spread the word, and let's get down to business. If you haven't already heard, we covered Beetlejuice in our archives from 1988. Go back and listen to that. This one just came out recently. Shadwick, you saw it in movie theaters. Is that correct?
I did with the missus, and
nice.
We loved it.
Yep, and I just watched it. I didn't own the original Beetlejuice. They had a twin pack, $24.99. Got them both.
Fun story.
That must have just lasted for a couple of days, because I went to purchase it last night, and you could only buy them individually.
Damn.
So I paid $23, I guess, for Beetlejuice.
Yeah,
Beetlejuice.
Damn! 3 times.
Oh shit. He said it again. Leaf,
That's twice.
Leaf, did you also just recently watch the new one?
I did. Fun story. My wife, who's younger than I am, has never seen Beetlejuice, the original or the new one. So we actually had a double feature. So we watched both of them, and let me tell you, that was really fun.
How was it back to back?
Dude, it was actually really good. Like, sort of a time jump, but at the same time, I know, like, my wife's a big Winona Ryder fan. Like, she is one of my wife's favorite movies.
Me too.
Is
I was going to say, I know Chris is a big fan too.
Dude, yeah, she's awesome. So we it was pretty incredible, man, just to like give that jump like in time to see like all of the characters, and of course how we know them now, much older obviously, but you know, all those same characters. My wife's like first comment was like, how have I never seen this, like the original Beetlejuice? Because she was like, and I was like, I don't know. I mean, she grew up pretty conservative, probably even more so than us.
It's funny you say that, because I mean, it really wasn't in heavy rotation in mine at all, even when I got older. And then kind of, I don't know what happened. And, you know, we covered it, was probably the most in-depth that I've ever kind of dove into it. And then you really appreciate what the fuck it is.
Yeah, I think I said when we covered the original that it wasn't really my favorite, you know, back in the day.
Right.
It wasn't, because it wasn't a kid's movie.
Right.
You know?
It wasn't
so
really
so when you when you get on up older, late teens, early 20s, then you start like picking up on the jokes, and then it's a lot funnier, and it's great.
It's a lot funnier, and then you get older, and then life gets a lot sadder. And it brings us over to our
Get out of the street, you fucking bum!
yeah.
Hey,
Get out of the street.
before we start on our booze of the week, with the weather changing, it's starting to finally get colder here, and I've been waking up with a little bit of congestion in the mornings, like just a little bit, stuff that like clears up in the shower, whatever. But I notice when I'm in the shower, I do the old trusty snot rocket. And
you're welcome.
I thought this is
and every time I do it, it reminds me of when we were in Atlanta for whatever event
Concert,
we were there
for. Yeah.
And I think so. We're walking around downtown. I got fucking hammered, trashed, and puked somewhere. And if anybody's ever drunk puked, which I hope you have, sometimes you get that little bit of, little residual stuff back there.
Yeah.
And man, I was just like hacking and coughing all through the streets, and you're like, just shoot a snot rocket. I'm like, what? And you're like, just hold one side of your nose and blow it out, whatever.
Yeah.
But dude, I remember waking up the next morning, I was hurting so bad. And I wish so much that back then I had Zbiotics.
Zbiotics, that's right. So, guys, our friends at Zbiotics, if you take one of these before you go out and drink, I can tell you, like we talked about a couple weeks ago, we did it in Tampa. Bounce back like champions, just makes the next morning a little bit better. So,
you won't be riding in the back seat in the fetal position all the way on a
2-hour drive
trip.
back to Chattanooga, crying
I'm
like Chadwick was.
Julie, please just be quiet.
She's like, I'm not even saying anything. You're like, oh, why so loud? So anyway, you can get on the Zbiotics train. Go to zbiotics.com/be kind, or if you go on their website, promo code be kind, get you 10% off. You help us, but more importantly, you help yourself while you're celebrating Booze of the Week, which leads me over to the Japanese whiskey that I'm drinking today, which is Toki Sonotori whiskey, and it tastes like whiskey.
For relaxing times, make it Suntory Toms. That one's for you, Gibbs. That was for you, Gibbs.
What you got, Leaf?
I'm going to tell you right now, gentlemen. My wife was so impressed with the movie. She did it special. Both rum cocktails. Can I present to you both the bride and the groom?
Oh, damn.
Nice, dude.
Rum cocktails, dude.
We've got to start getting out. We still got to start putting out like Rachel's recipes every week. That she's doing for these.
Yeah.
Rum cocktails. One is red, one is green for those of you who are uninitiated on the YouTube podcast.
Yeah, for those of you that are just listening on audio, you should check out the YouTube page because these are pretty impressive.
Yeah, she did a great job, man. Chadwick, bring us home.
Yeah, so my wife also hooked me up with a drink. Hold on.
You feel that?
Could you hear that?
Yeah. What was
What was that?
What is that? The monster bottle of Knob Creek.
I was like, is that like a jug of Knob Creek?
Chadwick with a 1.75 for the audio listeners, jug of Knob Creek small batch.
It says small batch, but
there's nothing small about that bottle. I can tell you that much.
Well, it's I hear it's not so much the length, but the girth that's important.
I hear that as well.
I'll be damned.
So, guys,
I think all the small cock people hear that. Oh, honey, it's fine.
It's fine. If she says that it's a good size, we know what that means.
Nice fucking model!
Let's go ahead and
Said
get
it was a
over
good size.
into our verses. This is Beetlejuice versus Beetlejuice.
Damn! 3 times.
And so, Leaf, let's go ahead and kick us off, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to start off with the original Beetlejuice. We're going to compare and contrast, and in the end, we will be the great deciders of which one is the superior movie in this head-to-head battle. Number one, starting off, we've got the original Beetlejuice. Of course, for those who don't know, 1988 fame, an American dark fantasy comedy horror directed by the one and only Tim Burton. From a screenplay by Michael McDowell and Warren Scotton, based on a story by McDowell.
Yep. Which
And,
actually,
Larry,
like we talked about in our Beetlejuice episode, that script floated around Hollywood
Forever.
forever.
Absolutely.
I love our show.
We have the best freaking time, dude. The budget was $15 million, and it grossed $84.6 million.
So a success, you say?
It was a wild success, actually. I don't know where y'all saw it, but I'm pretty sure I stated that I saw it in my rich best friend's basement, along with all of his other collection of nefarious movies that I probably should have been watching at the ripe age of, what was I, like 9 years old, 9 or 10, something like that.
Those movies of his mom.
Dude.
Trey, honey, where's the video we were watching earlier? I keep finding these dirty, crusty socks all over the basement. What's wrong with your feet? Why are they doing this?
Lee's feet get wet? They step in a puddle, honey?
Is this starch? All right.
Let's come out to the swimming pool. Just play with you.
You got me nuts.
You're not playing with it. Why not let him? Share, baby.
Yeah, baby. Chadwick, where do you first remember seeing this one?
I'm sure it was a VHS. I think like my introduction to Michael Keaton was Batman. So I probably went back and watched Beetlejuice after I saw Batman. Because there was only a year difference. Like Beetlejuice 88, Batman was in 89.
Yeah. So that's true.
So yeah, that's it. He got on my radar, and again, probably didn't really like it that much as a kid because it's not really aimed toward kids. But
I mean, like, really nothing Tim Burton ever really did was like. Don't get me wrong, Pee-wee's Big Adventure and all that. I didn't like that movie as a kid. I like Pee-wee. That movie scared the shit out of me, Tim Burton.
It looked like this.
Like, I still like all of his movies going back. It just, that vibe would just, it has that, I don't know how you put a vibe on film that goes through several different kinds of media, but he does.
You know what? I watched Pee-wee's Big Adventure one time with like one of my older cousins when I was a little kid, maybe even before Batman. So
yeah,
I mean, I'm 8 or 9 years old, and I've never watched it again. Because
we're definitely going to be covering that one.
Yeah, it's one of those things that I've meant to go back and watch, but I think I disliked it so much as a little kid, probably for the same reasons. I don't really remember it, but I do remember like an uneasy feeling when I was watching it.
Yeah, it's like you're anxious when you're watching it, and it's just all his films. As an adult, you're like, holy shit, that's badass. How'd you get there? But like as a kid, you're like, I don't like this. Someone died on this set, and I can smell it. All right, Leaf, go ahead and let's go into the cast.
Yeah, actually that's a good segue. Chadwick brought up Michael Keaton, so yeah, let's do talk about the cast. I feel like Michael Keaton, especially when I watched it the second time, reminded me that this was pre-Batman Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important because this is one of the reasons nobody wanted him as Batman. Could you imagine? I mean, I know it's hard to imagine now because everyone knows Michael Keaton as Batman. Most of us anyways. Mm-hmm. Some of us remember him before then. But if you look at it from the perspective, imagine he hasn't played Batman yet. Mm-hmm. And people are like, Beetlejuice is going to be Batman.
Dude, stand-up comedy,
like, it was
Mr. Mom.
That was the one that everybody was turned off on. Mr. Mom's going to be Batman? No way.
And not to mention the guy that directed Pee-wee's Big Adventure is going to direct Batman.
Yeah.
and that just did Beetlejuice.
They're like, oh, it's going to be another campy bullshit like the
Yep.
like the 66
Zip,
so,
boom, pow.
But
still waiting for Catherine Yanko to give us a call.
but he was no shit.
Shout out Catherine.
But he was also in a movie called Clean and Sober.
Yeah,
It was a drama, and that's what actually sold Michael Uslan on
him.
On him. I mean, it was a good. I mean, obviously, it was a legendary choice, but you could see in this movie he does such an amazing, like, comedic, over the top, cocaine fueled performance.
Yeah,
it's hard to imagine.
Well, that's how his stand up was. I think we've probably talked about this before too. But his stand up was like cerebral. He would talk about, like, remember the bazooka bubble gum, like you unravel it and it would have like little Mad Libs or whatever inside it. But in his version, it's like these like deep, like Russian philosophers, you know. It talks about like the time, the space time continuum or something.
Yeah, dude. And he gets really fast. He can go really fast too, kind of Robin Williams esque, that kind of style back then. But yeah. So obviously, him in there.
Michael Keaton obviously is Beetlejuice, insane, over the top performance, as we just mentioned, just absolutely just nuts as a character. Not actually in.
And he had a
Now you want to get nuts?
Come on, let's get nuts.
Let's get nuts.
I saw some Beetlejuice in that scene.
Let's get
100%.
Let's get Dietz nuts.
Yeah.
We need to actually get we need to get an AI version of Michael Keaton as dressed up as Beetlejuice in that scene, and I bet it works just flawless.
Get on it. Yep.
Shadwick and other art nerds, get on that right now. The Beetlejuice, the original, also stars Alec Baldwin.
Which, I'm sorry, the clip's going to make its appearance again.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Alec Baldwin.
Alec Baldwin.
That's a good one.
So Alec Baldwin and Gina Davis, which let's just go ahead and just jump ship over to the new one real quick. There was a scene written with them returning in Beetlejuice. Ended up they didn't do it because logically they're supposed to be ghosts, and here it's 36 years later, so they would not have aged.
Yeah, and Alec Baldwin is
right.
fat, and Gina Davis is still beautiful.
Yeah,
but older.
And plus you got to figure whatever their salary would have been for 3 minutes on screen. Whatever.
Oh, dude, yeah.
And then not to mention Alec Baldwin, he's been rumored recently to be auditioning with the same line where he just walks in and goes,
Anyway, I started blasting. Bah, bah.
Allegedly, that's ignorant.
Yes, indeed, Alec Baldwin.
He did start blasting.
Acquitted of all charges, evidently. We also have Catherine O'Hare,
who makes a return in the new as well. Obviously, as Michael Keaton.
She does indeed as Delia Dietz, the stepmother of Winona Ryder, who plays
also
Lydia.
Is back for the new one.
Absolutely. And I guess that just about rounds out the cast.
Wait, we're forgetting somebody.
Someone. Jeffrey Jones.
the guy from The Devil's Advocate.
Yeah, he makes an appearance, obviously, as the father, Charles, the patriarch, Charles Dietz in the original film. He doesn't reprise his role. I can't remember why. Oh, and rounding out, I almost forgot, Glenn Shattuck is Otho, who is just, dude, this character is like...
I wish he had made an appearance in the new one. Or,
I mean...
Is he dead now?
We're going to get to that, Shadwick. Stop spoiling. No spoilers, dude.
No spoilers.
Dude, if Beetlejuice was real,
they don't mention him in the new one, right?
No.
They actually don't. No, they don't. He's one of the characters that doesn't... which is unfortunate because honestly, he damn near steals the scene when he's in each and every one of those.
Dude, he does. Yeah,
he's
great.
in the very first one. Insane. Also, catch him playing the exact same character in Demolition Man, which we will be doing if I have anything to say about it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
so
we're almost to the year that Demolition Man was based.
Oh
in.
yeah, that's right, dude. We got to do it on the day. So
we still don't have a President Schwarzenegger. I'm kind of pissed about it.
we'll figure it out. So let's go ahead. Just a brief, quick synopsis of this one. They move to this house. The daughter is your typical troubled teen. The original couple has died in a car crash, so they are haunting the house, quote unquote, because they haven't figured out how to go to the other world. Which actually, the other world that leads me to shit stuck in my head this week.
Well, be careful you don't fall off that ladder. Not all dogs go to heaven.
So, says here you're involved in the plotting of September 11th?
Well, that's what they get for supporting Israel. Yuck. Gosh.
Okay, into the eternal pit of fire you go.
I've never seen that.
You've never seen that one? Dude, let me tell you, the anti-Semitic Disney jokes never die, Family Guy, and they are so funny.
Say what you will about Seth MacFarlane, but he follows our rule of comedy to the T. He makes fun of everybody, so good for him.
Undefeated. Yes. So Chris is correct. The original haunted house in Beetlejuice 1 is owned by a couple, Adam and Barbara Maitland, and they are unceremoniously dispatched in a car accident, trapped in the house for all eternity as ghosts. And a brand new disgusting family moves in, and they are absolutely horrible. They're everything country folk. They are the California liberals. The father, Charles Dietz, is basically a real estate mogul developer. His wife Delia is just an absolute monster, a shitty artist nonetheless. Even everyone immediately, she's terrible. Her sculptures are Tim Burton nightmarish creations. And he made those models. They look like something, so, especially in the claymation scenes in this movie. It's just, dude, it is unbelievable.
They look skeletal or something like that.
Well,
they look like just like a bunch of ribs coming at you.
They were made for the claymation scenes. That's what it was made for. It looks like.
Yes, and finally we've got, of course, our favorite Lydia Dietz, the stepdaughter of Delia, actual daughter of Charles, who is basically the first teenage goth on screen, to my knowledge. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but that's the first time I ever saw a goth chick,
at least in a movie that I can remember. That
I can remember is the first one. So she invented it, as far as I'm concerned. I'm sure she was
she's more goth, but she's also kind of playing the Molly Ringwald Sweet 16.
Like I can get that.
Teenage angst character.
She is, but I feel like her outfit and her like
that dark,
dark demeanor is a little more.
I think that was just something that Tim Burton had in his passenger seat of his car that day.
Also, though,
he's like, "Here, try that on.
Just put that on." I wore it last night. It may still smell.
I am terribly sorry. And so that rounds out the cast. Of course, the Maitlands have trouble getting rid of these freaks. This family moving in, they try to haunt them away, but it doesn't really work. They're terrible at it, so they enlist a
hired
exorcist.
Hired
gun by the name of Beetlejuice.
So then Beetlejuice, which is kind of funny because it's kind of your typical, like, Beetlejuice is the bad guy in the first one,
right?
The movie's named after him, but he's kind of the bad guy. So they work together. You have your story. We won't go super into it. Go watch the old episode. But then, in the end, Beetlejuice is sandwormed, and the Dietz get along with the Maitlands, and that's kind of how the movie ends. They do some dancing, and then we move on. So,
okay, I believe you.
jump in the line.
Before we move on to the next movie, I do want to mention or give Shadwick, I know, an opportunity to talk about the special effects, the way that the movie was filmed, the soundtrack. You just mentioned it. Awesome soundtrack for the original Beetlejuice, legendary. In fact, you can't even. It's almost unmatched. It's so good. It's got these calypso tracks. They're insanely catchy. This is the first time that I can remember ever hearing those songs. Obviously, we were younger.
Same, and the new one. I'm just going to cross over for a second since we're talking about it. They do a similar scene in the third act in this one where they're lip syncing, and again, I don't recognize the song. I don't know if you guys do.
I do, and I'll tell you the only fucking reason I do is because Weird Al parodied it.
Okay.
And his parody was Jurassic Park is frightening in the dark. For MacArthur Park.
So whatever this song is, whoever the artist is, how much do you think they're hoping that this movie propels this song?
It does. I was talking to somebody at work today, and they said, I guess in the I haven't watched it because I don't fucking care. But the Menendez brothers have like some kind of series on now, right? That people are like getting to because I guess they didn't live through it like we did.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. It's on Netflix, and every time I see the little thumbnail or whatever it is on Netflix, I think it's gay porn. Like, it's the creepiest fucking.
Well, apparently
like they're like standing
they
with no
lean
shirt.
into that. Yeah,
they're like no shirts on, and one's like behind the other one with his hands on his shoulder or something.
Oh,
it's,
dude, and
it's just
from what I've told, they lean into that a little bit. But anyway, they had Milli Vanilli song on there, and Milli Vanilli apparently made a comeback on the charts again because it's in these shows. So it's kind of funny now. Music we grew up on, or is now oldies. Go fuck me.
Oh yeah, I heard Nirvana playing in CVS the other day.
Ah, cool. I'm gonna go.
That's just.
I'm gonna go on a live myself. Go into like Leaf was saying, the special effects.
Yeah. So Michael Keaton, when approached about this sequel, he had some stipulations. His screen time was one of them, not because he didn't want to put time into the project, but because what did we decide it was in the first movie he was on
16 or 17 minutes.
I think it was 17 minutes he was on screen, and that balance, or maybe imbalance, really like promotes the overall story of that movie. It makes it work better because he's so energetic. Like,
he's so over the top. You can't have 90 minutes of that, or you're going to get fatigued. Right. Where do you go with that, right?
Old.
Yeah,
and with all the whimsical sound effects and things they've got, it's incredible and it's forceful. But man,
it's hilarious. But it's also you would be fatigued watching 90 minutes of that. It would be like watching Robin Williams stand up.
So So the stipulation was his screen time, and then he wanted to use the same practical effects that they used the first go around.
Which I love him for that.
I do too, because that's in my notes. You look at the Ghostbuster movies; they've done 2 of them now. Mm-hmm. They just don't hit the same because you lose. Even though the special effects weren't great in what was it, 84, the original came out, there's still a sense of realism somehow. And when you go like super CGI and everything's too smooth and it just doesn't work. You're just not good.
I want you to actually like mention like the what effects though you're talking about specifically, because I mean it does have a different feel. Like we're talking like clay. I know it's like probably stop motion animation. People get pissed off if we say claymation, but that's what we knew it as like growing up, right? Like claymation and
even like so when they go to the underworld, it's everything. It looks like a fun house basically. Like everything's out of square.
Yeah.
Everything looks like it's kind of like a cheap plastic. There's black lights. There's multicolored lights. All of the makeup on all the monsters is like it's obvious makeup and prosthetics. It's almost cartoonish. But but it works.
It works in that world. That world is cartoonish.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was a sticking point for Keaton. He's like, he said that they had like dozens of scripts for a sequel, like over the years, and nothing really ever like hit. And then finally, these were two new writers, right, Chris?
Yeah, I think so.
Leaf, you have the writing team for the new movie.
The new one.
Alfred Goh and Miles Miller.
Oh,
Miller.
Okay. So those are the guys that did
Screenplay.
the whole like Arrowverse on CW.
I think
Oh,
so.
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Australian British screenwriter Miles Miller and
Guess. That ain't no guess. That's what it's gonna be.
but the effects to round out Beetlejuice 1 before we get into it, because I'm ready to get into Beetlejuice 2 as well, or Beetlejuice.
Damn! 3 times.
The sound effects.
Is that a thing? You said it twice.
Yeah.
I love Michael Keaton's like, whatever. When he spits something, dude. I just want to say that if you haven't seen the original Beetlejuice, like my wife, I highly suggest you go.
It's
and
on.
watch it.
If you have HBO Max or Max, whatever it's called now, it's on Max still. So you can go watch it on there if you already have a subscription. If you can. I'm sure there are going to be more bundles of the Beetlejuice and Beetlejuice, but damn, 3 times. So just go watch that.
Yeah, it's incredible, and like, I'll let Shabik finish, but like legitimately, it is a microcosm of 1988. It's Tim Burton at his finest. It's actually creepy. Like if you're younger, it has the tendency to kind of put you off.
Did you just Kanye me? I'm going to let you finish. But
hey, I want to give you the last word, dude. I'm giving you the stage after this. I'm gonna let you finish, dude. And George Bush hates black people. Final thoughts on Beetlejuice 1. Tell people why they should see it. I know you love it, dadgummit.
Just Michael Keaton he's so all over the place, but structured at the same time. He does it in the new movie too, where he does this rough, gravelly voice, but then he will go to almost like a regal, like very proper voice.
Yeah. Well, I attended Juilliard. I'm a graduate of the Harvard Business School. I travel quite extensively. I lived through the Black Plague, and I had a pretty good time during that.
Dude, it's so funny, and he's like an evil genie in a way, because even when he's doing the most horrific things, there's like a comedy aspect to it.
But I won't spoil the end of this the new one yet, but he's not present and he doesn't recognize the moments he's creating, right? So if he does something outlandish, he doesn't let it breathe. And he just continues on with the next because that's normal life for Beetlejuice, right? Like it's not a big deal to him. So it's just that aspect, not dynamic, which continues in Beetlejuice. But
and in the original, we had no background on him. He just shows up, and all we know is from the lady. I can't remember her name, Velma, maybe in the underworld. She's like, "Oh no, you don't want his help." She's just like she gives the Maitlands a warning, basically, but you don't know who he was in his life before he was killed, or died.
No background at all.
Yeah.
Just know he's
so thankfully,
demon.
A trickster demon, but yeah, thankfully, the new one kind of expands on his life a little bit.
Is awesome.
Yeah. So you want to jump in this? Because I'm ready.
Absolutely.
I'm ready.
Absolutely. So I believe 36 years later, ladies and gentlemen, if you ain't old yet, you just felt that scene in
and
Saving
let's just
Private
go ahead
Ryan,
and let's just preface this. Spoilers will be had in here. If you haven't seen it already, then you probably shouldn't be watching this episode, but also sponsor our podcast.
And also watch this episode.
Yeah. Why not?
Full spoiler alert. Yeah. Here in incoming, Beetlejuice is a 2024 dark American fantasy comedy horror film directed by, yet again, Tim Burton.
which
from
is
a
awesome.
screenplay, which is just, it's like you couldn't do this without him. Nope. Screenplay by Alfred Goh and Miles Miller, as we mentioned before. A sequel, of course, to the 1988 film Beetlejuice, and the second film of the Beetlejuice franchise. Aptly named Beetlejuice Beetlejuice. Whoever thought the marketing team, well done. Well done. And,
very, very well done.
And also sets up potentially for a third one, because you got to say it 3 times, ladies and gentlemen. I ain't saying nothing. But that's the way that it is.
Yeah, I'll say it when we get to the end of the episode. But
Yeah. The film stars Michael Keaton, Winona Ryder, and Catherine O'Hare, reprising their roles alongside new cast members Justin Theroux, Arthur Conti, Monica Bellucci, and of course, you can't have a creepy movie any longer without Jenny Ortega, because she was like,
good for her, man.
Wednesday Addams.
Yeah. So here's maybe this is a hot take. I don't know. I think Ortega, is it Jenna or Jenny? Jenna, right?
Jenna Ortega.
Jenna Ortega. I think she is the new female Johnny Depp.
Dude,
really?
Statement. I think she was already Wednesday in Tim Burton's Netflix series. I think she is going to be his go-to.
I mean, I hope so. She did a great job in this.
Dude.
Anything I've seen her in, she's been great.
Look, again, comparing this to the latest installment of Ghostbusters. Yeah. This is so much better.
Oh, Head and Shoulders. Yeah, Head and Shoulders.
I mean,
that.
Right.
But it comes down to the realism, the cast. She's just so much better.
Yeah,
she really is. And I hate to say it, but she's kind of hot. She's not. She's not my typical.
I think she's 19, so legally we're allowed to say that, right? 20,
yeah. I mean, we're not going to get left out of any sequels by saying she's hot.
This, what's a nice segue into who was left out of this one and why? I wonder.
He who will remain unnamed, I guess.
I mean, we can name his character name, because his character actually is in the film.
His character
cleverly done,
dude. It's so brilliant. That's something in my full disclosure, kids. I got high as shit last night and watched this, and I took notes. Here, I'm just going to show you.
Hit us with them.
Yeah, no, he's just going to show you.
I'm just going to show you
the high notes as you scroll up for fucking weeks. Saying, if you look at some, Shadwick, we talked about Jenny Ortega, and we said, she's an attractive woman, of course, above the age of 18. But if she was above the age of 18, and you said something like, "I bet that tastes good," you probably aren't going to be in the sequel. So we'll leave it at that. Yeah, let's move on.
Yeah, if she was she was a 14-year-old boy. And you said that
allegedly,
you probably would not make your way back into the sequel.
Yeah.
But in the sequel, this is a first for Be Kind, Let's Rewind. I'm going to read directly from what I wrote last night.
Oh, here we go. That'll lead us over to our new segment called Shadwick's High Notes. Brought to you by Delta 8
and or 9.
And or 9.
Brilliant way of having the Charles character in the movie without using the actor. So they do a little claymation, we call it a flashback scene.
Yeah.
Basically, the character dies. He was on a plane. He had been bird watching, which is a kind of a throwback to the original movie.
Right.
He was always watching the birds, whatever. Apparently, he flew off somewhere overseas to watch some birds mating. They were, says here, they were all 14 years old. But anyway, the plane crashes in the water. He doesn't die at that point. What happens is a fucking shark comes up and bites him in half, right?
Dude, yes.
So his ghost, the ghost of the underworld, is
without a face.
He's a half body.
Right.
He's shark bit from the sternum up.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And he's got blood squirting out.
It's gruesome.
Every time he talks, yeah.
They had, what's his name? It's impressionist and comedian Charlie Hopkinson did the voice for the character, but it's a brilliant way of having Charles in the movie without having the actor, and they made him disgusting with that gurgle. Like every time he would talk, it was like his voice was
you're underwater,
was like masked by like the blood squirting up. And my hot take on that is, did Burton do that to mirror the disgusting nature of what this guy allegedly did in real life?
I mean, maybe, but I will give a shout out to faithful listener John T, who pointed out that there were a choir of boys singing at his funeral about the banana. So I was like, okay. Right. Well,
I didn't catch that, so that's
I
good.
didn't either till John T said that. So John T, sponsor
the
podcast.
Conspiracy gets deeper.
So my thought is Burton like trying to just make everybody disgusted, make their stomach turn every time they think of that guy now?
They had his picture was on there a lot.
My wife, she said she thought it was just like to camouflage the voice because it was someone else doing the voice, which is obviously much more logical. But I prefer to live in the fringe zone where like everything's an Easter egg or a nod to something.
Yeah,
and
I think that you're presented with an unusual problem with this particular movie, because unlike a lot of movies, like if an actor, says blows off one of your toes or whatever happens, and you
still got to pay the money, right?
You still got to pay him the money, but he's a criminal.
Doesn't seem fair.
It's you just kill him off. Well, Beetlejuice is really unique because you get to see people in the afterworld, so it's almost like they were sort of backed against the wall here, in my opinion, because they know everyone's going to be like, what happened to Charles Dietz, the dad? Like, where is he?
I mean, they could have. I mean, he could have left. Catherine O'Hare and then gone away and all this shit. There's different. I like this one because it like hits it hits it head on. He's still in the movie without being in the movie. Yeah. And you still get that story and that story is important, as we find out at the end of the movie. Like, it's a very important story.
Yeah.
Yes. It's incredibly important.
And then also you have a choir of boys singing something about
fucking choir boy.
Also in the cast, if I'd have mentioned, was William Dafoe.
Dude, yes.
Yeah.
And he plays an actor.
A funny character where he's just acting in the afterlife as a kind of a fucking police chief or whatever.
Yeah, like you feel like he was like on CSI or
like, a method actor.
Dragnet or something like.
Yeah.
He played a cop. He was an actor, and he wanted to do his own stunts, and one of the stunts got him. So he's got like one side of his head's like just peeled away, basically.
What did he say? I didn't know it was a live grenade.
Yeah.
He actually blew himself up because he refused to use a stunt man. Also, we've got Monica Bellucci, who never fails to impress.
Dude, she's
ever.
like 60.
Yeah. And
Jesus
she
Christ. In this
hashtag would.
The first time I saw her naked was on
what?
Brotherhood of the Wolf, dude. Do y'all remember that? Martial arts films.
I'm writing it down.
No,
hold on.
Go. You guys need to watch that. Anyways.
What Brotherhood of?
It is actually a French
Brotherhood of the
Wolf.
Okay, got it. I just bought it on Prime.
Yeah, Monica Bellucci makes an appearance. She's
send me your sign on.
Done.
She's also in The Matrix. Let's not forget. She does
that's
play.
right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, these are all movies I recognize her from. And
wait, who was she in The Matrix?
She's like she's just one of the AI programs, or wife to one of the AI programs. She ends up helping Neo, if I'm not mistaken.
When I was watching this with some friends this week, we were like, shout out Joe. Me and Joe were watching this, and I was like, he looked her up and he's like, dude, she's 60. And I was like, how? We'll go ahead and kind of jump in this one. A brief synopsis. There's going to probably be spoilers here, but it kind of picks back up Lydia is now grown up. Winona Ryder, SpongeBob podcast. Also call me. She ends up, which I thought was pretty clever. She's doing a paranormal show because there's 1,000 of them out there. Pretty on brand. What's the dude's name that's in this that plays her boyfriend?
Justin Theroux.
Dude, he was actually was just stupid. Of course, I always know people from dumb shit. I know him from Parks and Rec in a brief appearance he had on that.
Does he not remind you of like a young, dark-headed John Slattery from Mad Men?
Dude, yeah, I can see that. Good call.
Yes,
he's good friends with the guys from Smartless. Like Justin Bateman and
is he?
Yeah.
He just always does a great job. Any role I've seen him in, like so in Parks and Rec, he played like I think what's her name, Amy Poehler's love interest for a few episodes.
I was anyway, somebody's boyfriend.
But he was he was just so good because like the character, even in that show, it moved. He was supposed to be a likable. This is the guy she wants to be with, and he's like going to be a smarmy ass. Like he just has range, and he's good. He's a great actor.
He was in that movie too with Kate McKinnon and I think it was Mila Kunis. The spy that fucked me or something like that.
Yeah. That's what it is. Yes.
I'm not. Was that it? The spy that fucked me?
No, it was called The Spy That Pulled Out. So next,
well, y'all are forgetting one final character. Danny DeVito is in this as a janitor.
So
anyway,
I started blasting. Bang! Bang!
I purposely.
I know I saw that,
Chris.
I was proud of you.
Yeah, I wanted so bad to tell you that he was in this because I know you're a big fan.
Dude, Chadwick did a great job of you saw this like weeks before I did. And so Chadwick did not spoil it. I'm obviously a massive Always Sunny fan. I have on my desk 4 Walls whiskey. It's green. You're not going to be able to see it. I'm going to have to do editing. I'm sorry, Chris. I'm a big fan of Always Sunny.
You held it in front of your face.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of Always Sunny. And Danny DeVito, obviously, reuniting with Tim Burton from.
I was going to say, you got Michael Keaton, Danny DeVito. And then I don't know if you guys noticed, but the pastor or priest, whatever it is, that's going to marry them. He was in The Dark Knight Rises.
Oh shit! No, I didn't know that.
He was remember Daggett, the guy that hired Bane to come in. He was his little crony guy.
Oh shit!
He was the one that backed out of the room when Bane's like, "Do you feel in charge?"
Yeah. So you have all the good Batmans,
dude. That actor's name is Bern Gorman. Shout out, Bern Gorman.
Yeah, dude.
And Christy pointed out he kind of just naturally looks like the creature priest that was in the original Beetlejuice. That was going to marry Beetlejuice and Lydia.
Yep. Yes. 100%, man. Good call. Good call, Christy. Sponsor our podcast.
Quick, like
wait, no. She already is.
Yeah.
So we go to the future 36 years later. Lydia has a paranormal talk show basically where she sees demons, communes with them, and of course makes money doing that. Her boyfriend, Rory, played by Justin Theroux, is a TV producer. He's just sleazy from the get-go, like Chris said, similar to the not always Sunny, but the Parks and Rec character.
Yeah, he's got the little Gaston.
Yeah, dude, the little mini ponytail back there.
Yeah, what a dick. You find out that Lydia, not only could she see the Maitland's ghost, but all throughout her life she can see ghosts, and so. She's used that. The gift. She's used that to make this show, and assumedly, became rich.
Assumedly, out of the blue, she gets a call from Catherine O'Hare, who reprises her role as Delia. That Father Charles Dietz has indeed passed away, murdered by a shark.
Which we covered. He was munched, then also serenaded by 14-year-old boys.
Daylight come and we want to go.
So they all were choir boys, nonetheless. They all return once again to Winter River.
Lovely voice.
They return to Winter River, and of course, the creepy house that Charles once loved and fell in love with.
What I love about Catherine O'Hare in this, is anybody, if you haven't, go find it. Schitt's Creek, great fucking show. I always thought, like, when I started watching this, I was like, oh, Catherine O'Hara is playing her Schitt's Creek character. And I'm like, no, Catherine O'Hara in Schitt's Creek was playing her Beetlejuice character.
Right.
Like she found this one back in fucking 88 and then reprised it back when she was doing. I was like, God damn, I love her. I don't know what it is. I guess it's just the comedy chops, the acting ability, her longevity, like everything she does. Man,
she has witchy eyes too.
Yeah, she just I don't know. I've got a lot of flowers for Catherine O'Hara.
You mentioned
same.
Well, also, she's a big success in the sequel too. Her art like really took off.
Yep.
They even whatever private school it is that Lydia's daughter, was named Asterd. That can't be right.
Asterd. That can't be right.
Michael!
Yeah?
My water's breaking!
Oh, okay.
Anyway,
Astrid.
Yeah, so they gave like a wing to that place or whatever, and like when there's a scene where they're at the school where they go to pick up the girl, and you can see like in the background it has like Dietz, studio or whatever, but or Dietz Center, Strass Center. But you talked about going them returning to Winter River.
They all do return, yes.
Yeah, so Winter River is actually East Corinth, Vermont. And coincidentally, we are going to go there next year. We're planning a trip through New England, and it's like 2 hours from Salem.
So you're actually going to go to where they shot this?
Yes.
Oh, fucking nice.
And apparently since 1988, it's just been a big fucking tourist place.
Tourist trap. Nice, man.
And the house is still there.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah,
good for you.
It's gonna be
sponsor
really cool.
Really cool.
So the whole family returns back to Winter River, including Astrid, who is Lydia's daughter, estranged from her because of an incident with the father, who evidently died in the Amazon, eaten by piranhas or missing. You just find out.
Oh shit! Hold on. Oh, Astrid's father dead today. He was eaten by wolves. He was delicious.
Why didn't you have that as the shit stuck in my head this week? That's
well, because I just thought about it right now.
Forever, dude.
This genius doesn't work on anyone else's time but mine.
So there's a terrible. The family's all back together, but they hate each other.
But you don't know.
Course.
You don't know that he died. Like you just know
you don't.
That
He's missing.
He left. Yeah, he's missing. So you're like, hey, where is he? So anyway, that's a big plot point.
Yes.
Yeah. So Delia tells Lydia, like, he's dead.
He's dead now.
They so they go back to Winter River. They're going to have a funeral, whatever, at the house. Catherine O'Hara puts this big like death shroud over the house,
dude, which is
it looks so cool.
And I don't know if you guys noticed, but you remember in the original they had this deck that came off the house, and it had just this wall at the end of it.
Yeah.
With a window in it.
Yeah. That's not there anymore. They got rid of that. Douchebag Rory, Justin Theroux, he decides to take this opportunity in front of all these people that are there to mourn Charles to propose to Lydia.
Charles Schwartzel.
And it kind of puts her on the spot, and she even tries to back out at first, I can't deal with this right now. I love you. And he's like, well, I love you. Let's, and he kind of forces her into it, and she keeps looking at Delia and looking at Astrid, and they're both like, oh, no, but she does it anyway because she's just weak. She racks a discipline.
One of the things about this is this happens a lot on movies and stuff where people just spring a proposal out of nowhere, a la Michael Scott. And I always think to myself, how the fuck does anyone have those set of balls without discussing with your significant other before you're like, hey, this is working out good. We should probably get married. That's usually normal people.
I've seen too many examples of people at ball games getting denied. No, I'm not doing that.
So much so that they're all, I'm convinced, and will not be proved wrong. Most of those are staged now. Like
I feel like they they just throw the beer in the face. And all that nonsense.
yeah, all that shit. Like it's all staged. Nothing's real in this
well,
life. I'm still in a coma.
Let's
move on.
Remember what I said. Take her to the zoo.
Take her to the zoo.
If you're in the coma, then you missed the next part where Astrid is being estranged from her mother, hating everything that's happening. Basically, decides to ride her bike. Nearly gets killed in the city, but is summarily saved. She crashes into a random house or neighborhood fence, and inside is a guy reading a book. She meets what will become her love interest in the film, who turns out to be a murderous demon.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
And here again, that's the exact same fucking plot from the newest Ghostbusters movie.
Yep.
But you don't realize it because what we're watching here is just way better.
So, spoilers for those of you who wanted to see the Ghostbuster movie. Get fucked, idiots.
Get fucked.
Yeah.
Paul Rudd, sponsor our podcast. We love you.
Yeah,
we love you.
Paul Rudd's the only good thing about that movie.
Yeah. So,
Bill Murray.
So, like Leaf said, you have that with that plot point.
It's the reason for our hero to
right. So again, it's the Terminator 2, right? So it's time to make your villain your hero. So Lydia goes to find out, get her daughter. Once she figures out, she's talking to one of the neighbors, figures out, oh shit, that's a murderous kid. No one lives in that house.
He's a demon.
Yeah,
fuck me.
Yeah, like when she first meets him, he tells her that like his parents, like they won't even notice that she broke the fence, and they just they stay in the house all the time, whatever.
Her dad got hurt at work. He's on disability.
Yeah,
disability.
It's good,
and
it's good. It's actually really good.
Yeah,
like, you don't
I didn't even think about it. I didn't even think about it until the fucking twist happened.
So he's like the nice guy. Like he has the same interests as her. They've read like some of the same books, whatever. And
guesses her costume, when she shows up,
and so she doesn't know it the first time she meets him. When she goes back, they have this little romance thing happen, and the kiss, and then she opens her eyes, and they're like floating above the floor,
levitating. Yeah.
And that's when we realize the horror.
And she didn't even believe her mom. She thought
she
thought
thought
the
her
ghost
mom's
was all bullshit.
Yeah.
So
just for a living. And what's crazy too is like, so you keep getting introduced, like Beetlejuice is in this periodically, but you find out like you find out that when Danny DeVito makes his appearance and he gets killed, so now Beetlejuice's ex-wife, his backstory comes out. Like, he was what was he, grave robbing?
He was a grave robber, yeah.
In the dark
broad.
You know what? We actually just fucking like skipped right over the reemergence of his ex-wife.
Yeah,
so,
we just have to. Like, like I don't want to go over this entire fucking movie.
Also, it's not. She's irrelevant, damn near, and so is William Dafoe.
It is, she really is.
Yeah,
but there's a couple little throwbacks that I noticed last night. She's been completely like cut apart, and her body parts are in different trunks. Like in storage, whatever. Danny DeVito is like a custodian in the underworld
who drinks Drano.
Yes, and he's going through with like the floor buff or whatever. Some kind of electrical shock happens, and the trunks open up.
Yeah,
her body parts all like crawl back together, and the last thing to crawl back is her wedding ring finger.
Yeah, dude. I didn't notice that till the second time.
Which, if you remember the first movie when Lydia is about to marry Beetlejuice, the priest asks for the ring, and he pulls out a finger, right?
Here it is. There you go.
I swear, she meant nothing to me.
Did not remember that. Did not notice that. Well done, Chadwick.
Yeah.
You know what? Well done, Chadwick's wife.
Sponsor our podcast.
Do it.
She's already doing it. So she literally like staples all of her body parts back together,
which somehow she's still hot.
Yeah. Well, she's
hotter,
really,
arguably.
Well, she's really put together.
Yes. She is really put together.
So there's a subplot there with her chasing Beetlejuice.
She's a soul sucker.
Yes.
Which we're going to get. And she sucked the soul right out of it. But she, going back to the special effects, I love this. The first victim she gets in this is Danny DeVito.
Right.
She picks him up, and at first you see like, his soul or whatever's coming out of his mouth into her mouth, and I'm like, oh my god, we fucking seen this before. But then his body, his skin basically just like shrinks up like accordion style and just like flops on the floor like
she had him in his arms, and then he looked up at her and he said,
You gotta pay the troll toll. If you want to get into that boy's hole, you gotta pay the troll toll to get in.
And then Charles Dietz was like, did somebody say boy's hole?
We almost had it.
Whap, whap,
Dang. It was almost the first spit take.
It's gonna be me. I'm getting it. I swear to God.
It's gonna be me.
So we have the subplot where Beetlejuice's wife is coming after him. But
and
the
she's
reason
pissed.
We finally get a reunite. We get tidbits of Lydia getting teased by Beetlejuice the whole time. She's starting to have a break. She thinks she's having a breakdown. He's coming back. She obviously fears him because he's sort of this loose cannon that can't be controlled in the underworld. And her daughter gets in some trouble. The demon boys tricked her, traded her soul for his, and they go into the underworld, and Lydia has to enlist the help of none other than Beetlejuice.
So now we have our Terminator 2.
There is one little plot point we forgot. Asturd's dad is dead, and she's mad. She's mad at her mom because, one, she thinks that she's full of shit, but two, she's like, oh, so you can see all these other ghosts, but you can't see the one ghost that I want you to see.
Right.
Yeah. Lydia enlists the help of Beetlejuice, who makes Lydia sign a contract. Basically, he's going to help save Astrid, Lydia's daughter, in exchange, yet again, for her hand in marriage. She seems to constantly be obsessed. I'm not exactly sure why. I don't know if Shavik or you haven't. I don't know why he wants to get married to her.
I really take issue with this name, Astrid.
Beetlejuice agrees. Lydia agrees to his demands. They decide to help each other. So we get the chase in the underworld where they are running, trying to find the demon boy,
which is great too, because you have the fucking reveal of the Soul Train.
All aboard the Soul Train,
which I fucking loved. Like, you also see, like, despite the douchebag boyfriend's piece of shit mentality, her dad is down there.
He is down there.
And for some reason, working at the DMV, I thought that was for people that unalive themselves.
Her dad's there. So I said the same thing. If he's down there working, that means he killed himself.
Do you think it was
committed suicide?
Seppuku.
It's a word. It's in the dictionary. You can say it.
YouTube said, nope, you're not going to do that. Yeah, I'm waving. So anyway,
to Chris's point, though,
the Soul Train, though?
Don Cornelius is like running the Soul
Train. How great is that? Actually, shout out John T again, because John T goes, is that actually Don Cornelius? And I was like, dude, I think it is. And he was right.
Don Cornelio.
Dude, it was so fucking cool. And then, like, even like some people I was watching this movie with, some other friends that may be a little bit younger than us, were like, I mean, if I was gonna die, this is kind of the place to be. The Soul Train,
the Soul Train, ushering people to the next, wherever the next stop was. It was multiple
Play me
stops.
some fucking 70s funk music. Let me get my fucking groove on. Let's go,
dude. People were dancing. It looked so lit, dude.
Sounds like a party.
It was so funny, man.
They're rushing around, like they're trying to solve like multiple problems. And we completely we didn't cover the fact that Delia ordered some
snakes that were supposed to be defanged.
Defanged snakes. They got her. She died. And
she got Macho Man Randy Savage from Jake the Snake Roberts.
Yeah. She's like, ooh, but you're a liar.
The snake died, brother. Yeah.
But anyway, so she's down there. She gets the help of Beetlejuice also. And then,
well, she wanted to speak to the goddamn manager when she was down there. She
yeah.
really,
she was carrying the shit out of it.
I'll get my husband.
And then that chick was like, did that work for you when you were alive?
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
So, long story short, Beetlejuice sends the young boyfriend of Astrid straight to hell. Like, shout out.
Yeah.
There's actually a hell.
So I just want to sidebar. Fyodor.
It was Dostoevsky.
Yes. He's one of the most influential Western novelists of the 19th century, most famous for Crime and Punishment. And I believe it was he who said,
"Later, fucker."
He did. And what I love too is like they got the one fuck in there, you know, like a nod to the original, like
and then
it's bleeped.
Yes. I laughed my ass off at the bleep.
Yep, so did I.
It was really funny.
What the?
Yeah. So anyway, so Beetlejuice helps get rid of him. They're now, but now like Defoe's after him because he brought a live person down there, and so
he's trying to force Lydia into marrying him again.
Because he held up his end of the bargain.
Yeah, I mean, she signed a contract.
He did what he said he was going to. You give it to Beetlejuice, man. Like Chris said, like he's sort of the hero in this, right up until he's not. After, just like the original movie, like the Maitlands hired him to do a job, and he holds up his end of the bargain. Now, nobody likes his methods because they're a little mean. He kills people.
Be careful what you wish for.
Mm-hmm. So again, just like the original movie, I thought that the lip sync scene here went a little bit long.
No,
but you don't. Don't.
This scene went way long.
Yeah, it went way long.
Way,
but
like the original one.
But he changed it in this. The reason it's not too annoying is because it's overlapping these establishing shots of Willem Dafoe and all of his of his guys. They're like surrounding the church. They're about to come in.
If you take us, I mean, I assume Burton has a hard on for MacArthur Park, the song, but the way the song changes tempo constantly, and like it's telling a story in the song itself, but so like it fits the shots really well. But also when I was looking this song up, because I was like, I know this is MacArthur Park, but I wanted to make sure because all I know, my reference point is Jurassic Park from Weird Al Yankovic. So I was Googling it, and the second or third one down was why MacArthur Park is the worst song ever. So what I thought was shared by others. So,
oh my God! So Beetlejuice is forcing Lydia to uphold her end of the bargain. They're at the wedding. We get this long ass lip sync song, but like Shavik says, establishing shots. The undead police, led by what's his name,
bro? You know what it reminded me of?
Dafoe.
It reminded me of the fucking "I Do Anything for Love" video.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, like it had those kind of shots.
It did have that vibe.
Except it didn't have that sexy ass chick on that floating bed though.
I don't know, man. Like the girl walks in and stapled together.
How did that chick never amount to like
anything
a
more
star?
than Knuckle Children?
Yeah, no shit, right?
She is French in actuality, so perhaps I don't know. The whole scene culminates.
They brought. I will say they brought us the menage a trois.
We created the missionary position. You're welcome.
Welcome, ladies. And so everything
French
culminates. Everything culminates at the wedding. Beetlejuice is forcing Lydia to marry her in her classic red wedding dress.
Dude, which was nice.
Again,
little callback.
Little throwback to that. So cool. Beetlejuice's demonic soul-sucking ex-wife shows up, and basically Astrid becomes the hero in this scene by finding the Book of the Undead and the loopholes, draws a square, and invites a delicious claymation sandworm straight out of 1988.
Yeah, call back.
And I noticed this last night too. Even in the first movie, there was just a very brief glimpse into that realm where the sandworms were. Gina Davis was in there, but in this movie, it shows. Is it Winona? It's
Winona Ryder.
It's Delia and
Astrid.
They're running. They're using that same fucking like old school green screen.
Yep.
So it flows right in. Like I wish I had watched them back to back because I bet it's seamless.
It was awesome. It actually, for me especially, my wife hadn't seen either one, so everything was sort of wild and new to her. But for me, it was literally watching a time warp. And I'm going to talk about this.
But also too, like when you watch it with somebody that hasn't seen it before, and you get to experience their joy again, which is kind of that is one of my favorite things in fucking life. To be honest, is like to share like one of my favorite movies with somebody and to see like them react the same way I did. Like laugh or whatever. Usually comedy, but like this one with this scene, like you get your closure with the dad. The dad's dead, so he's dead. And which we covered on our Dirty Work episode. I hope you watched it.
If I can just kind of just fanboy over Michael Keaton for just a second. I talked about earlier where he goes in and out of different voices or whatever.
Yeah.
The part where he's talking with Lydia about his ex-wife, like he's doing the Beetlejuice voice, and then all of a sudden, I got this ex-wife. She's really just.
Then he goes into Keaton voice, right?
Yeah, it's like just Keaton voice, straight Keaton voice, and it's so fucking good, dude.
Anxious,
yeah, anxious.
It's so good.
It's so fucking good. But there was something else he was doing physically in this one, and I don't know if they were trying because there was so much time passed. If they were trying to make him look fatter.
I saw that.
He kept doing this thing where he would like sink his chin into his chest. And it reminded me of your drunk uncle, Chris. Well, either one of the postman or the accountant.
What?
Well, you probably blocked those memories, but
my drunk uncle is Johnny.
No, not Johnny.
And now Chris is the drunk uncle.
Yeah.
There he is, the champion in all his glory. Astrid actually becomes the hero here. She draws the circle as the handbook of the dead instructs. And this time, the sandworm comes up and crushes Beetlejuice's ex-wife and Justin Theroux, a.k.a. Rory, Lydia's disgusting boyfriend, who we find out, thanks to Beetlejuice's truth serum, is just a disgusting piece of shit.
Yeah, like he just wanted her money.
He just wanted her money, right?
He didn't believe in ghosts or any of that nonsense. He's just farming her for money. So
now he's dead.
And
he's dead now.
Lydia gets, I believe, the last laugh, says Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice.
Damn! 3 times.
3 times, and Beetlejuice explodes in a comically goofy balloon.
I know, and that's what I was thinking when I said like he's basically like, help me out, Leaf. You were a comics guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
In Superman, was it Mitz S. Pitalek or was it Mitzelplick?
I always said Mixelplick. I believe it's Mixelpitalik, if I'm not mistaken.
Mix S. Pitalek.
Mixelplick.
But that's kind of what he reminds me of, though. Like he's, like I said before, he's like a genie, but like an evil genie. So even like as she says his name, he comically like goes up into a balloon, right?
Yeah.
And finally he pops, and then the last little bit of the balloon's like coming down, and it lands, and it's his face, and he goes,
"Should have got married in Vegas."
Yeah, dude.
Because it took too long. It's just the constant.
Like Triple H, Triple H got married in Vegas. So
please put that clip in there. Please put.
Right from the get-go, and this is how I always pictured it when you see the little white chapel dressed on a run.
Please, dude.
When he drugs.
and also put the clip where he goes,
Oh, dude. and she did.
Yes, she did.
And she said, "You're never going to get this," and then he this.
He got that. He got that.
All right, man.
So that's
whether she wanted it or not. Allegedly.
So that's the end of the film. I mean, very briefly, the special effects are true to the first one. Anything with the filming, the film did. We forgot to mention the original was made for 15 million, made 84.6 million. This film was $100 million to make and made $435 million.
Also,
And it keeps getting funnier every single time I see it.
All right, that's enough. All right, so here we go. Let's get down to brass tacks with the versus format. Cast comparison, the characters, verses and verses. This one's going to be a little harder because a lot of the same.
I got a hot take. Well,
right,
I'm trying to put hot takes on all these. Okay, dude. So my take is this. Basically, I think the original Beetlejuice cast wins. You have the Maitlands, which were noticeably absent from this. They did explain it away perfect. They found a loophole and they crossed over. And obviously, you know, we talked about why that it was good that they probably weren't in the second one. I don't care. I think they were the main stars in the original Beetlejuice. I don't care. Like I good explaining it away. They somehow managed to get Charles Maitland after his criminal like offenses, which by the way, I prefer Charles Maitland pre-sexual assault.
Let's call him Charles Dietz just for fun.
Yeah, excuse me, Charles Dietz. Yeah, my mistake, not Maitland. Cast for cast, they're basically the same for all intents and purposes. They bring back the majority of the cast. I honestly, again, okay, so here's my hot take. William Dafoe and our favorite, I'm sorry guys, Monica Bellucci don't belong in the film. Danny DeVito does. Danny DeVito belongs in this film because he's Danny fucking DeVito. But Monica Bellucci,
it's a Tim Burton nod, right?
And
it is.
Also, can I just? I've got an air of grievance.
It's your fucking podcast.
Yes,
you can do whatever you want.
It is. It is. Face of the business. Why did we not get Danny DeVito as a Wolverine variant in Deadpool and Wolverine?
Well, because that's the proof there is no God. All right, so here's mine. Is
Ryan Reynolds, SpongeBob podcast.
To me, it's impossible to beat the original. The original cast
on the cast, right?
Because you have. We don't know what this cast will do, but if the original cast, what they did do, Catherine O'Hare, Winona Ryder, Michael Keaton, and the story itself is the simplicity of the story to me with that cast brings it home where I'm like, yeah, give me the original. All right, Shadwick, go.
Cast.
Dude. I think this is. I'm gonna call it a draw because I think the sequel is a perfect continuation 36 years later from the original.
Nice. So you get a 2-0-1. All right.
I respect it. Next up in the versus format, which movie had the better showing and also the setting? Again, a tough question to ask on this particular movie because it's basically the same. I'm actually going to go with Shadwick on this one. I'm going to call this one a draw personally. I feel like as far as the setting of the movie, the way that it was filmed, the sequel really does probably one of the best jobs that I've ever seen a sequel do, especially 36 years later, guys.
Dude. So for me, I'm going the other way. I'm going with the sequel. I think the sequel location, all that stuff was shot better. Like, I think it was better.
Damn. Okay.
Shadwick?
Yeah, I'm going to say the sequel is a little bit better because you're in the underworld a little bit more. And and we're introduced to the soul train.
But also, like, too,
That's
like, you have to understand this when we're comparing sequels, this director now has like almost 40 years of experience under his belt, right?
Mm-hmm. You said the cast. I'm going to give the original the edge on the cast, with the exception of Jenna Ortega. I think she is an
she's
exceptional.
phenomenal.
She's an exceptional actress. She's got a very dark future in front of her. But dark because she's going to be with Tim Burton for.
Okay, so let's go.
She's a better actress than Winona Ryder.
Oh,
how dare you, Shadwick?
I mean,
I knew
right,
this is
also,
the reason we do
Winona
versus
Ryder
for the hot takes.
Sponsor my podcast. All right, so story versus story.
Which one had the better
all
story?
Right, Leaf, you go first.
Of course. I give 100% to the 1988 original Beetlejuice because, again, I realize a lot of people, probably are going to look at this and be like, well, you're always going to say the original, but hear me out. Hear me out. The original wins because it has zero fat on it. And the new story, I'm sorry, I stated it before who had the better cast. Monica Bellucci and William Dafoe, while exceptionally sexy, beautiful, and incredible actresses, are amazing.
What about Monica Bellucci?
They weigh the film down, dude. They're fat that don't belong, and it was fun to watch them, but they don't really add anything into the film. Beetlejuice's ex-wife, coming after them, I realized they needed something to offset Beetlejuice being the hero, right? Like they needed somebody to sort of push back against him besides Lydia.
Right.
Which I disagree with. I think Lydia is the perfect, it's really, the new film is really about Lydia and Beetlejuice, and the ending that Shadwick and Chris talked about is proof of that. The whole movie has always been about, the whole series has always been about Lydia and Beetlejuice. They have the connection. You don't need William you don't need William Dafoe, you don't need Monica Bellucci, in my opinion. And they sort of weigh it down in the story. The 1988, as with most 80 movies, is a better story. It is cleaner, it's concise, you understand what's happening from the beginning. And guess what? My wife agrees. The first time she's seen either one of these movies, the first one is more clean, it's more concise, and you know what's happening from start to finish. It's easy to follow, and it's sort of shocking too. Like when the Maitlands die, she was just like, "Oh no!" and the dog is on the balance beam, and they fall into the river. There's moments like that you just don't get in the sequel, because what you're really looking for in the sequel is fan service.
So
and the story to me doesn't hold.
So for me, and I'm just gonna agree with you and cut it pretty fucking short. And I talked to some people at work too, and that had seen this movie, and they were like, the second one seemed a lot forced. They were like, they were cramming about 2.5, 3 hours into an hour and 40, right? And I was like, you know what? That's a good point. So I was like, I love the second one, but to me, the first story, zero fat, streamlined. Let's go, Shadwick.
Leaf said it earlier. The plot is essentially the same from the first one to the second one. So I'm going to give it to the first one because that was the original.
Right.
They basically they kind of did a carbon copy, but with him trying to shoehorn in some extra characters. I'm going to go with the original and tie a nice bow on it because I'm going to try to go get my soul sucked out.
Yeah.
All right, man. So let's go to our final verdict. Let's all do our votes. This is going to be short and sweet, and to Shadwick's point in his penis.
Which
movie that had the better cast?
A good size.
Yeah. Leaf, movie that had a better cast, one or two.
I'm going to give it to number one, who had the better cast. I'm going to give my final hot take. Are you ready? This is going to piss Shadwick off.
Yep.
I actually felt, I'm sorry, I feel like Beetlejuice, younger Michael Keaton, had more energy or the ability to more exuberance. I felt it either through filming. I know that he probably still has it in him. He, in my opinion, he delivered a more reserved Beetlejuice performance in the second one, and I noticed it. And I've not seen anyone else say that, but I'm going to say it. I felt as if perhaps his age was showing in the second Beetlejuice. I prefer the coked out 1988 Michael Keaton cast. Yep. I give it to original Beetlejuice.
So for me, movie of the better cast, Beetlejuice won. Shadwick?
Beetlejuice won with the exception of Jenna Ortega.
Agreed. Leaf, better showing and setting.
I mean, I originally said it was a tie, but I'm going to change it. I don't think you should be allowed to have a tie here on the verses.
Let's go.
I'm going to go. You guys convinced me. I'm going to go with Beetlejuice, better showing, setting. You're
here.
right. Like Tim Burton has learned his lesson. It's incredible.
Yep.
So here we go across the board, right?
Yep.
2s.
Yep.
Which movie had the better story?
Beetlejuice 1 for me, without a question.
1 for me.
1.
All right, guys, let's wrap this bitch up so Shadwick can go and talk to his wife.
I wish I had basketball pants on right now. So
Shadwick can go talk to his wife about financial ventures and nothing
and the
more
Lord
than that.
and the Lord Jesus Christ.
Here we are. Let's do this. Ladies and gentlemen, best overall.
No, that's fine because God should be in your relationship.
Ladies and gentlemen, best overall. Leaf, go.
Beetlejuice 1 gets my vote.
Chris. Oh shit, that's me. Beetlejuice 1. Shadwick.
Beetlejuice 1. But I want to say this would be a great back-to-back watch. I wish I'd done it. But
100%.
Yep.
It was.
And with that, guys, let's lead us over to our Norm Macdonald clip of the week.
He was on the Celtics. He was on the Wizards.
Oh, he was on.
He's a 10-year veteran.
He's 6'10",
right?
And his twin brother, identical twin,
Sharon,
is not gay.
Maybe the normal gene would be those ladies
that normal to be gay.
That cut their cocks into vaginas.
No, if you're looking to make it in standard television, you're not going the right route. You're not going the right route. He was on the Celtics. He was on the Wizards.
He was on.
He's a 10-year veteran.
He's 6'10",
right?
And his twin brother, identical twin,
Sharon,
is not gay.
Maybe the normal gene would be those ladies
that normal to be gay.
That cut their cocks into vaginas.
No, if you're looking to make it in standard television, you're not going the right route. You're not going the right route.